This is the missing piece, the fourth province of Sanctuary Island. It is by far the smallest and the most isolated from the others, hence its name. These are the northernmost beaches, characterized by black coloration caused by heavy mineral buildup. There are hardly any dinosaurs here, but even inland, the missing piece is far more empty than its contemporaries. When we began Operation Rise, it started in the Midlands. Then, after about half a year, we moved into the Northern Woodlands and Shield regions. The missing piece was going to be our next step, but operations on this part of the island were cancelled in favor of further expansion throughout the rest of the island. Although a few dinosaurs were introduced here before our plans changed, and those dinosaurs remain here to this day in Mockingbird Hole. Mockingbird Holt is where dinosaurs are most common, but today, only this young Chungkingosaurus seems to be on the move. Chungkingosaurus is a herbivore, mostly solitary, and despite its small size, can be incredibly dangerous to predators. Her phagomizer is armed with 8 spikes. This is a bizarre adaptation, so bizarre that we don't know if Chungkingosaurus looked like this in the Mesozoic, or if this is a mutation found in our clones. However, not all may be well for the Chungkingosaurus. Something watches her from the shadows. As it turns out, the animal watching her is the subadult Eudiodon, one of the most common herbivores on the missing piece. Neither animal poses any true threat to the other, but neither animal seems to like each other much. Ultimately, the Eudiodon decides to leave the area, and the Chungkingosaurus is free to continue foraging in peace. Despite how few dinosaurs were added to the island, Mockingbird Holt remains a unique and thriving ecosystem, filled with Mesozoic life. But the abandoned forest is a different story. This area was never built on by Mockingbird Co., and as such, only a relatively small amount of once migrants live here. In the canopy, we bear witness to a sanctuary eagle, a failed velociraptor clone. They were originally placed here on the missing piece, intended to be separated from our successful dinosaurs. But some flew to the northern woodlands and have since become one of the most unique flying predators on that part of the island. From the forest floor, a Placerius searches for food. This was one of the animals, like Chungkingosaurus and Eudiodon, that was placed on the missing piece before it was abandoned. But this male is seldom thriving. He recently endured an attack, and since walks with a severe limp. His wounds are worsening, and his chances of recovery are getting slimmer by the hour. But his struggles don't end there. He's incredibly old and incredibly sick. Even if he survives his wound, he doesn't have much longer left. Back at Mockingbird Holt, a Eudiodon is foraging. Normally, Eudiodons travel in groups of 5 or more. It's possible that this one got lost or separated during an attack. The Eudiodon moves in to feed, but it is nervous, and rightfully so. After all, Mockingbird Holt is home to some of the strangest predators the world has ever seen. The Eudiodon has fallen victim to a creature unlike anything before it. This is Umbrovenator, the Shadow Hunter. It's kinda failed Fukiraptor clones that were placed here. These unique hunters are among the deadliest creatures on the whole island. Much like the island's Fukiraptor, Umbrovenator is a shockingly good climber. And, as we just saw, it usually attacks from above. This one has made a successful kill, but it has competition. On the missing piece, Umbrovenator's rival is undoubtedly Metriacanthosaurus. Today, the Metriacanthosaurus' sheer size have given it life. The Umbrovenator, on the other hand, has been put in a bad spot. With an injured arm, it cannot climb, meaning it cannot rely on its main hunting tactic. Its only hope is to find a carcass to feed from, until its arm heals. This island is host to a few types of failed experiments. One results in creatures like the Umbrovenators, unintended mutations that created animals drastically different from what they were meant to be. The second type of failed experiment doesn't reveal itself until far later. In 2008, 2 individuals were placed on the island, triggering a saga that nearly ruined an ecosystem. Today, a reminder of that saga is roaming through the eastern floodplain. This is Azure, a female Suchomimus. She and her sibling were placed in Conifer Forest, but following the Songbird Lake incident, Azure was eventually relocated here. Now, the largest theropod the world has seen for the past 66 million years rules the eastern floodplain, and by extension, the entire missing piece. The eastern floodplain is home to the only 2 temnospondals that Mockingbird Co. ever made, Koolasuchus and Gerophorax. This Koolasuchus is headed to Azure's lake. His kind are among the top predators of the eastern floodplain, attacking fish, small dinosaurs, and even younger Koolasuchus. But Azure does not fish. The fish populations here are not enough to sustain her. So instead, she hunts large prey, like Koolasuchus. Right now, Azure is not hunting, but the Koolasuchus cannot risk being found. A narrow and lucky escape. Azure moves on, headed to the shade for a rest. As she travels, she comes near Stegoformus. These are a failed batch of Ankylosaurus that were placed here. However, they are the only animals on the missing piece that do not fear Azure. She is not built to take on other dinosaurs. Azure's presence has made a Placerius nervous, and it is trying to intimidate her away. But Azure does not tolerate challengers. Nights on the missing piece are usually quiet. There aren't as many nocturnal animals here as on the other provinces. This chunk Kingosaurus is exploring the abandoned forest, taking advantage of how empty it is. Though right now there is more going on than she thinks. This Metriacanthosaurus has killed the old man, but it will not be able to feed in peace for long. A number of Venator watches from the canopy. But there's more than just one. Soon, the Umbra Venators turn on each other. The next morning, not much flesh remains on the Placerius carcass, and we see the winner of last night's tournament, this large, ferocious female. There are still a few stragglers, though she fends most of them off. One of the stragglers was the injured male. He cannot fight her, so she just simply has to wait for her to let him get a chance. But today, something far deadlier is in the area. Azure the Sukumaris. Soon enough, Azure and the Unprevented's body are both gone, and our injured male is free to eat. He shall survive on the missing piece for some time to come.